Hey everyone, Kevin here. I wanted to talk today about another pretty significant difference between teaching and corporate. The fact that you will no longer have sensory overload. This is one thing I have noticed few people have really discussed, but I find it to be a really important thing to point out for those struggling with their transition out of the classroom or those who may be on the fence if they want to leave education. I mean, think about all of the things you had to take in on a daily basis that you came to not even realize at a certain point. That artificial, bright, fluorescent lighting in your classroom, the constant noise of screaming students every day, or loud music from students' headphones that you could tell them to quiet down constantly, the smell of those body sprays and other perfumes that made you have allergies or headaches, especially me, since I have a very strong sense of smell, as well as the vibrant colors on the walls, the relentless pace of the schedule and your time commitments, clutter and grading sometimes piling up, fire alarm sounds, having no control of your classroom thermostat, so the room was either too hot or too cold, having to hold your bladder all day since you can't go to the bathroom. Oh, yeah, and especially the eye strain from nonstop screen usage since technology is ubiquitous in our classrooms these days. The list is endless, and I think you get the point. But let's be honest, I only covered a handful of the sensory triggers for educators these days. Now, I'm not saying that elements of these things don't exist in every job, but there is a big difference between it happening sometimes and all the time. Though I may work from home where I have complete control over the things around me in my home office, this applies to practically any job site. Even working in a run of the mill office job where your workspace is a cubicle, you tend to have more control of your environment than you do in what was ironically supposed to be your personal classroom, where you could create a safe space for both you and the students. That lack of control and the sensory overload led to severe stress and eventually burnout for many educators who just couldn't deal with all the input they were receiving. It was a bit oppressive at a certain point. And this is particularly true for all those introverted teachers who struggled even more to try and balance their needs and the sheer amount of social interaction they had to put up with every day. That was definitely me. I know at a certain point, I had to always eat lunches alone just to have 25 minutes of relative silence. And even then, I still got interrupted fairly often during my lunch period. Or I ended up giving students some group work just so I could sit down and hopefully get a small reprieve from the noise and having to constantly be moving my eyes back and forth to watch every single student. Classroom management really wore you out. Now, outside of teaching, I don't think I have ever once had such an issue. Sure, I get stressed and whatnot, but I can take regular breaks, stand up, walk around, go to the bathroom whenever I want, and be left alone just to get more work done. Oh, yeah, and literally like 15 yards behind where I'm sitting right now is a major passenger and freight railroad line, and the constant sound of those trains going by is still quieter and easier to deal with than managing a classroom and all its difficulties these days. I find myself being more productive and seeing better results than while a teacher. Sure, I miss making a difference to the students, but in the end, that didn't outweigh the mental health and stress related issues I had to grapple with on a daily basis. Now, my time is respected, breaks are aplenty, and I find myself not lashing out from the frustration of always being overloaded. My sensory input is at a normal level now, and most importantly, I'm a happier person to be around because of it. I know my family and friends have commented on it, and I want to keep being that way, and I want you to get that way too. And as always, I am here to help you reach that exact same place. See you next time.